unfortunate.
Yeah, I don't know. Ohio State, they might be getting a little crazy over there, man. CJ Stroud still hasn't declared, and the deadline's Monday. So I don't know if they're
CJ
just
Stroud is not declared for the draft.
Either it's Jordan Addison.
No, Jordan Addison did.
Did he declare today? Okay, I missed
No, a
it.
while ago. He declared a while ago.
No, he hadn't as of like Wednesday.
No, I wrote the article that he did. I remember
so.
he did. Let's Google it. I'm pretty sure he did.
Yeah. Jordan Reed, notable underclassmen prospects have yet to officially declare. Stroud, Addison, Quentin Johnston, Latu. Yeah,
Where are you seeing that?
The deadline's on Monday. I'll see the tweet right now.
Steelers now. Former Pitt declares for the NFL draft. This was from Rappaport that said that he did.
When was that?
This is December 22nd.
Yeah, I saw Dane Brugler from The Athletic was talking about how Addison hadn't declared either. So it's interesting.
Huh. I wonder what the stat, like, I wonder if we could find a list that has everybody on it. I don't know.
Yeah, Eichenberg going back to school was a little bit surprising to me. I think this is a really weak. I'm not really a fan of this inside linebacker class. So I thought that Eichenberg had a chance to come out and be a day 2 pick in a kind of underwhelming class. So I was a little bit surprised that he went back.
That's a good turning point here. So we've cracked open the offseason. You have gone full force into the NFL draft, which is huge. You know, very excited for it. Draft season is the best season besides playoff season if you're in it. You started dropping scouting reports on the site, allsteelers.com. I think we're 3 deep as of now. We'll drop one on Monday. You have like 7 or 8 of them that I've read through already. All of them phenomenal. If you guys have not checked them out. You're watching through tape. Jordan Addison was one of them. Not a lot of big name guys, but I think a lot of big name guys that like somebody like me wouldn't necessarily know. You know, like I'm not real deep into the draft stuff yet. So I'm reading these guys and I'm like, I don't really know who this is. And then I'll be like, oh, okay, they're pretty good. Who stood out the most to you so far? I think you're like a couple of weeks in.
Yeah, the finalizing of reports is always really fun. I don't write up everybody, but I do write up. I'm going to try to write up guys that are going to be relevant for you guys, or guys that really stand out to me in a certain way, good or bad. And I would just say like the main guy that I really probably have enjoyed watching the most has been B.J. Ojulari from LSU.
Yeah, I knew that was coming.
Yeah, that's definitely my guy, man. I really enjoy watching him play. Speed rusher. He's like 6'2", 6'3", 245 pounds. The intangibles are off the charts. Like that's definitely something that I think gets overlooked a lot of times when depending on who you listen to for draft stuff. But the intangibles get not kind of left off the scouting report sometimes, but his are off the charts. I mean, this is a guy who is named team captain. He was given the number 18 jersey by LSU, which is a big deal over there. Pass rushing skill set is just off the charts. He has a number of different moves. He relies heavily on that ghost move. You got, chop, cross chop, dip, rip, everything, counter moves. I really enjoy watching him play. There's some stuff he's got to clean up. But I think that he's a ready-made pass rusher in year 1, and if he gets some a little bit more weight on him, a little stronger, especially in his upper body, I think he's going to be able to be a competent run defender. He's definitely somebody I'd bang the table for. He's one of my favorite players that I've watched so far.
Do you watch anybody so you obviously have your list, but when you're creating that list, do you ever hit guys that you're just like, all right, I just watched the film, this guy stinks? I probably shouldn't mention
it's maybe not like that. I don't know. I'm sure I have had that response, but there are guys that like I'll watch and I'll be like, man, I just don't see it. and that's sometimes a little concerning. I think normally for me, my process is I gotta watch 3 games of a prospect before I can really like feel comfortable in my own evaluation of them.
Yeah.
Sometimes it doesn't take that long because either I might be more familiar with watching a player just live on Saturday and I can already get a feel for like what he's going to be. But sometimes that's usually times where I have to watch more games too. Like if I get 3 games in, I'm like, man, I don't see what everybody else is seeing there. I might try to go find a film against a good good bit of competition or a big matchup with an opposing team's player and try to figure out like maybe what I'm missing. But I definitely, you got to trust your own eyes. I mean, that's the thing about the process. You got to kind of see for yourself and trust your process.
Yeah, I'm very excited to get down to Mobile. That's when my draft eyes kind of hit. Before then, I'm just like a
It's gonna be
lost
fun.
puppy. I'm running around. I'm trying to find out guys that I've missed all season because I'm not a big college football guy. I've never been a big college football guy. Like I pay attention to the games I gamble on. I pay attention to the big games, but like I'm not like sitting around watching college football. During
Yeah.
football season, it's tough, like my free time, I'm sleeping or preparing to sleep.
Yeah.
There's not really much
Yeah,
time for anybody else.
it's a grind during football season for you guys, especially. And another guy that really has stood out to me is I just finished up doing his report yesterday's Tennessee's Darnell Wright,
Yeah, I saw that.
um 6'5", 340, just a massive human being. He was a really fun film watch. I mean, obviously an incredibly powerful player who's got a ton of experience. He played like 2,500 snaps at Tennessee. Most of those being at right tackle. He's got experience going up against high level competition. We talked about on the draft show this week, matchups really matter for me, especially for like pass rushers and offensive linemen. And Darnell Wright, man, he basically shut out Will Anderson. I mean, he won the vast majority of their reps when they faced off against each other this year. He had a really good game against Ojulari, who I just said that I really liked.
Mhm.
So I really like Darnell Wright, incredibly refined technician. He has that snatch trap move that's just devastating. I love the way he finishes. He's going to be down in Mobile at the Senior Bowl, so the Steelers and everybody else is going to get a really good look at him down there. And I think that he's going to be somebody that rises through the process. Even though I don't think he's this incredible athlete, he's more just kind of big, more than
Yeah, he's
anything.
huge.
But he does redirect pretty well. He has some recoverability, which is not normal for guys that size. So he's definitely probably the best or the most kind of maybe surprising offensive player that I've watched. That I kind of just went into that evaluation thinking that he's pretty good, but I have some reservations about offensive linemen that don't have a lot of or don't have like plus movement skills, knowing
Yeah.
how crazy athletic the edge position is in the NFL. But after watching his tape, especially against some really high level competition, I came away thinking like, I think this dude's going to be fine. And he's done it against really high level athletes already in the SEC, and that kind of speaks for itself. So
Yeah, no doubt, no doubt. If the draft happened today, you still sold on an offensive lineman in the first round?
uh, I don't know. I only have two guys as of right now that I think for sure, without a shadow of a doubt, will be going round one. We had like 9 offensive linemen go in the first round last year. That's not going to happen this year. Like
No,
the
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 offensive line class
offense,
is not great.
yeah, it's really like average at best in my opinion. I think Peter Skoronski, the tackle who I think most teams are probably going to view as a guard at the next level from Northwestern. He's
Yeah,
definitely going to be a lock for first round consideration. Paris Johnson from Ohio State, he's going to be a lock for round one. Then you've kind of got just kind of a myriad of other guys that are going to play themselves into that conversation. Some of which I haven't finalized scouting yet. Dwight Jones, Paris Johnson's teammate at Ohio State. Broderick Jones, left tackle from Georgia. He's a guy that I'm really excited about watching. Told you
yeah,
guys I just finished watching Darnell Wright. The interior class, there's not a good center in this class. So I don't even know if there's going to be a center taken in the top 75 picks. And then really probably the best guard, at least that I saw live this year, was probably Osiris Torrance from Florida.
yeah.
He's another massive human being. He went to Louisiana Lafayette, which is where Kevin Dotson was from, but he transferred to Florida this year. And he dominated in the SEC. He went from dominant where he was at and then dominated the SEC. Just a massive human being, really strong, powerful guy who really fits into a gap running system. So, but yeah, I don't know. I think we're going to get a lot of day 2 linemen. I'm sure that we'll get probably 4, maybe 5 offensive linemen taken in round 1, but it's not like it was last year.
Yeah.
So
What about the other side of the ball? How early because you did a couple of nose tackles, a couple of defensive tackles. I don't know if they're
yeah,
true nose tackles. Would you take a defensive tackle in the first round?
Yeah, I wouldn't. There's not that guy in this class. There's not like a Dexter Lawrence or
Yeah.
anybody like that in this class.
First
The
pick in the
two,
second round?
I think it gets interesting. I want to watch Siaka Ika was a guy that I watched a lot of last cycle. Like he kept flashing for me. He started at LSU, and I've been familiar with him for a long time. I want to see how his tape is because there seems to be a lot of mixed opinions on his tape from this year. And then Mozzie Smith was a guy that I really wanted to get to because he flashed for me when watching Michigan this season. So, Mozzie Smith, speaking of just him, I think he's going to be like a midday 2 pick.
Yeah.
Bruce Feldman's freak list. He was the number 1 player on that list. 33-inch vertical. Just one of the most disruptive run defenders in the Power 5. I mean, I think he was like 4th or 5th in run stops or something like that. Really good athlete, can move laterally, can get vertical. Is developing a pass rush plan. I tell you what, like I said, that matchups really matter to me. Like Ohio State has 4, probably all 5 of their offensive linemen that are going to be in the NFL at some point, all of which will probably get drafted. And Mozzie Smith, they had no answer for him. I mean, he was on fire. I mean,
Yeah.
he was beating the hell out of everybody. So I definitely am intrigued by him. I don't know where he's going to go, but if I had to guess, he'll probably go in that like 50 to 75 range.
50 75 isn't bad for a guy to play next to Cam Hayward and DeMarvin Leal. Not upset about that one at all. Last draft question here. Who's the best corner in the class? I think it's Ringo. Do you think Joey Porter's a strong number 2? Do you think Joey Porter's a real option at pick 17? He is literally like, how 2 years ago it was just Najee Harris. The Steelers had nobody else. That Steelers were picking anybody else. Last year it was just Malik Willis. It was only Malik Willis. Do you think this year it's only Joey Porter? Do you think he's going to be there? And do you think he's worth it?
I actually haven't been able to get film on Joey Porter. So like that's been the most disappointing thing for me. I've watched I finished up watching Christian Gonzalez from Oregon. I've watched a good amount of Clark Phillips. I've watched Ringo all season long.
Yeah, dude's a monster.
I don't think that he's going to end up being the highest graded corner for me.
You think it's going to be Joey?
I'm not really sure. It's really close right now. I think
it's going to be Christian.
I think I lean Gonzalez right now. But corners, this is why I don't like lists. And I'm going to do a big board and I'll do cornerback rankings for you guys too. But lists sometimes get, they lose context. And what I mean by that is like receivers and corners, like they're very, scheme or what are you asking them to do within the context of your team. And I think like there's corners that I like in certain schemes more than others. So it's hard to stack those up. But Joey Porter Jr., from what I saw live this season, I liked what I saw. It's just watching corners on a live broadcast is
it's totally
futile.
Different.
So
what are you watching?
But I do want to say with Porter, he cut down the penalties this year. That was the main thing last year when I watched his film. I really, really was strong in the opinion that like he needed to go back to school. I didn't think that he was ready, even if it was going to make him an older prospect by the time he came out this season. He's a real physical player, but I thought at times he was just really, really grabby, man. And that's making that transition to the next level. When you're grabby, you can get away with more contact down the field in college than you can in the NFL level. You can't touch these receivers past 5 yards now in the NFL without being a flag magnet. And I thought that was going to be Porter if he came out. I want to say that he reduced his penalties to like 3 this season. So
that's pretty good.
Perfectly fine, especially for a player of his caliber. So definitely I'm intrigued. As soon as I get film on him, the only game that I've watched all 22 wise this year was Ohio State, and he played really well. I need more to go off of than what I've got.
Game.
So the guy that I'm watching this weekend, and I'll have a report up on or finish, will be Devin Witherspoon from Illinois. That's who I'm finishing this weekend. So he had an incredible season. He pretty sure he led the NCAA in pass deflections. Really good ball skills, and played at Illinois where they play like man coverage like 80% of the time. And the Steelers, with how much man coverage they played last year, I think there could be a natural fit there. We know about Terrell Austin and how much he really, really prioritizes, turning the football over. So I do think that he's going to be a guy that maybe a lot of people aren't talking about in terms of like the Steelers yet. But I think he's going to make a lot of sense. I'm excited to finalize his report this weekend.
All right, well, I'm excited to read it. Yeah, these are dropping at least 3 times a week moving forward. Check them out, allsteelers.com. They're in the NFL draft tab. Great stuff.